Hello, hello, hello once again. I am welcoming everyone to this very important meeting. We are all nurses and we're going to be learning how to manage stress in an understaffed environment. It's been a crazy year, and COVID preceding years were all people were leaving their jobs and a lot of things were happening. And today we just want to discuss about how we can cope with all the stress at our workplace. So I have a very, very resourceful person in our midst. She has been talking to youth people, nurses for a very long time, and she's here in our midst. I know she's on a very, very tight schedule, so she's not going to be having all that luxury of time with us so much, but we hope, that after this very edition of our Nurses Empowerment Project, there's going to be more and more of her in the program by God's grace. And if she lets us, invite her again, of course, we will invite her again. And then she would join us and give us more of what she got. But I tell you guys, this lady has a lot to offer, and that is why we have her on the program today. Like I said, when you join in, kindly mute your microphones, okay, so we can have one house. All right, I'm just going to go into the introduction of our guests. Remember, this is Nurses Empowerment Project, and this is something that we have been doing to encourage everyone and give us a little bit of tips on how to cope with things that we encounter in our workplace. This program we started last month, and we had someone that came in and joined us for last month, and it was very, very interesting. And today we have another person in our midst that is going to be discussing an all important topic for us. All right, let's go into the program. So before we go into the program, I just have a little quote for you guys. Small steps taken proactively can thwart safety incidents of epic proportion. All right, and another quote that I have for today is, working safely may get old, but those who practice it, but so do those who practice it. So working safely in a safe environment, it might be something that we say every time, but remember that those who practice it will also get old also. All right, so we have somebody in our midst. Let me ask us a few questions. Do you wish you could have more time in a day? Like, have you ever, been in a situation where you tell yourself that 24 hours is no longer enough? Or could you use great ideas to achieve life balance? Are you ready to manage stress when staffing is unpended? Okay, all right. If that is one of the questions that you're having today, let me go right ahead and introduce the person that we have. If you answered yes to any of these questions, then you are in for a treat today. Our speaker is a global nurse leader, received the Dr. Thomas First Senior Humanitarian Award from HCA, recognizing a level of commitment and the caring that goes beyond everyday kindness. The author of an award-winning B for Balance, okay, second edition, and 12 steps towards more balanced life at home and at work, and 17 other books. 17 other books. That is amazing. I mean, I just have just one book, and someone that we have today has 17 books already. So Winston Works has been shared with participants across the country and around the globe. Her newest book, Think Differently, 18 Strategies to Fix Broken, will be released this summer. All right, and then Sharon has over 30 years, that is 3 decades of progressive clinical education, administrative, and health policy experience in healthcare management and clinical practice. A former magnet appraiser, She has studied the role of life balance on health, happiness, and outcomes for 20 years. A native of Philadelphia, she completed her nursing education at Pennsylvania Hospital and followed by the undergraduate and then graduate degree in nursing, behavioral science, healthcare, to mention but a few. Then I also know that she's also a fellow of the American Academy of Nursing and a diplomat of the American Institute of Stress. All right, one of the three nurses worldwide to hold the FAAN and Certified Speaking Professional designation. This is the person that we have today. There are only three in the world that hold that. Okay, she is a clinical assistant professor at the University of Illinois and Chicago, and also an adjunct faculty at Purdue Global University, past president of the Infusion Nurses Society, and also the past chair of the Infusion Nurses Certification Corporation. She is a sharecare.com nursing expert and a member of the Care Links by ShareCare Clinical Advisory Board. Okay, she's also the former director of Premier Inc. Office of International Affairs and executive director of the Premier Foundation. She served as a U.S. advisor to the Kremlin Hospital for 12 years, creating a renowned foreign patient department. Sharon knows the balance is not for fad, ad, or promotion. It is for everyone, every day, helping us today to put B into balance and create a welcome. Please kindly join me today to welcome Sharon Winston. Sharon Winston, you're welcome to the program. I would make you a host right now, and I would allow you to share your screen. I know you have so many people, but let me just introduce the population of people that we have here with us. So most of people that you are going to be talking to today are registered nurses. Most of them are already in the United States, and some of them are also still in their various countries in Africa, maybe Nigeria or Kenya or different other African countries. So most of them, I mean, all of them are on the process of coming over here to practice nursing. And I know that this presentation will be very, very useful for them when they get over here. All right, so Sharon, I welcome you, and I'm making you a host right now so you can share your screen. Welcome to the program, Sharon. You can unmute yourself so that we can hear you.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be with you today. When you think about it, the whole concept of limited staffing impacts every single one of us, no matter what environment we work in, whether we're in home care or acute care, or even in nursing schools or in clinics or in the community. Wherever we are, there are extreme shortages in terms of staffing. People are trying everything possible in order to be able to manage this shortage. It's not like the cyclical nursing shortage that has occurred every few years on and on and on, certainly since I became a nurse. It's not like that at all. It's impacted by certainly COVID, by the fact that many people have decided to leave the profession and seek other ways in which to earn a living, care for their families, and let's face it, have a life. So have you ever thought about the fact that you too would like to have a life? In a former life of mine, I worked 100 hours a week, 3 countries a week in Eastern Europe, 2 weeks out of every month for 12 years, and I was so tired. And when I missed a family event that meant a great deal to me, I decided that I too needed to get a life. I wanted to make a difference, but I wanted to make that difference not only in the lives of others, but also in the lives of those who were near and dear to me. And that was my kids. And one of them was getting married, and I thought, okay, he's getting married, I might be a grandmother. I don't want to miss the opportunity to also be a grandparent. I don't want to miss those good times with my family that are so, so important to me. And so therefore, I quit my job. I started a consulting firm. I started a nonprofit. I decided to teach for a while, and I did all of the things that I could do that I could cram into 30 to 35 viable hours per week and still have what I needed, a life. And to me, that was very important. To this day, and it's been 20 some years, I have attempted every single day to practice that mantra, to be sure that I take time for myself, that if I don't feel like working, I shut down at around 1 o'clock and I call it a day. That if I need to take time off, I block that time on my calendar for personal time, because you too are important. And if you don't take the time for yourself, we all know, how can you possibly take the time for others? You've heard the saying that you cannot drink from an empty cup. So if your cup is empty, I caution you to either fill it or just take a break. There's a reason why when you fly, the flight attendant says, put your own mask on first before you assist others. If we don't take care of ourselves, remember, we cannot take care of others. And it's really all about self-care. And in my book, I say self-care is not selfish. Trust me, it is not selfish. It is something that you need to do each and every day for you, for Mercy and for Juliet and for Samuel and for Sam and for Nikki and for Stephen and for Shakiru. All of you need to do it for you. Because if you don't do it for you, who will? So I think that it's critically important to start the conversation with the fact that we all recognize that this is an issue. We all recognize the fact that it's not going away so soon. And there are steps that we can take to help to alleviate the pain, to alleviate the symptoms, and to make it better, not just for us, but for those for whom we provide care. So as I was thinking about what I wanted to talk to you about today, and I did prepare something for decency to share with you. It's a playbook, if you will, of basically a few slides, just a few, and I'll share them with you on screen as well, but just a few slides that really let you start to think about what's going on in your lives. I want to share with you the fact, though, that do you think that anyone ever, you can raise your hands, you can shout out, you can do whatever you want, just use one of the reaction buttons. Do you think that anyone ever died from not having a bed bath? Chances are no. I know it's a strange question, but when I was in school and it was in a 3-year program several years ago, let's say, I remember them saying when we had no staffing and a student nurse was in charge with an LPN or an LVN and an aide or an orderly, and we had 40 patients to ourselves, that no one ever died from not getting their bath. They died from not having their treatments. They died from not having their medications. So if you have an option and you can do face, hands, and bottoms and skip that complete bath and give them their meds and give them their treatments and take care of their wounds and do what needs to be done and monitor their progress, you're doing them a huge favor. You're doing yourself a huge favor at the same time, because you're able to maintain your sanity and you're able to provide better care. So keep that in mind. It's something that I learned long, long ago. So before I start those slides, I just want to talk to you a little bit about it. Number one, there are lots of solutions for today's shortage. The first one is, of course, to use an onboarding program to make new nurses feel welcome. Where are you going to get the new nurses? You can find nurses who want to work, but they only want to work in a culture that supports their growth, that makes them feel valued, that makes them feel appreciated, where they are recognized for the value that they bring to the program and the quality that they bring to care. So those are the nurses who want to work and they're available to work. You need to find them. You need to incentivize behaviors that you want from nurses. So reinforce all the good that nurses are doing. Make them feel valued. Promote the fact that for the 20th year running, nurses are the most trusted professionals according to the Gallup poll. You want those kinds of behaviors because trust is a commodity and it's all built on trust. And you also want to invest in long-term training and professional development. Nurses need ongoing education in the same way in which Decency is providing this program, and hopefully for continuing education as well. Nurses want to be educated. They want to stay current. They want, and you want, to know what's happening. When you have to compensate for an understaffed personnel working longer, for stressful days, for managers who don't seem to get it. They don't seem to understand. They don't understand that it's a real issue. You need to do something better. I believe that one of the ways in which we manage this is to be sure that everybody takes a break. When your body needs a biological break, it's sending you a message. It's bad enough working without lunch. It's bad enough working without a break within a 10-hour period, maybe a 16-hour period. But when your bladder is full, how helpful are you? Your body is sending you a message, and it too needs a break. And not only does your body need a break, your mind needs a break. People need a chance to recover mentally, to reduce the chance of fatigue, and to reduce the chance of burnout. So what do? You adjust schedules. You let people share shifts if possible. Maybe each person will work 6 hours instead of one person working 16 or 14, or a straight 24. You have to find creative ways to make it happen. The most important thing is don't ask staff to take on more than they can chew. Everybody is already working at maximum capacity. They cannot do anymore. If someone has 6 patients, they cannot take 12. It's hard to keep your retention rate high if your talent burns out. So work as a team to find solutions. If you need to, schedule a quick emergency meeting. Make that huddle in the morning about staffing and about workload issues and about individual solutions. Contribute to those solutions. Contribute your knowledge in terms of what you think should happen. Don't let just management lead the way. You're the people on the floor. You're the people on the unit. You're the people at the bedside. You must recognize what's going on. Sometimes these things go on because management is not aware of the depth and breadth of the problem. It's huge. If you're upper management, be prepared to document that the patient volume is down or that the utility's reputation is suffering because you're so shorthanded, or document the fact that the patient volume is up as it was in the peak of COVID, but that you cannot care for those patients because of a lack of supplies, because of a lack of equipment, and because of a lack of staff, because everyone is drained. Ask for resources to help to handle the workload. Maybe you could hire some temporary employees. Communicate with leadership that you're not looking for perfection. Don't let perfection get in the way of good. Make it good, but make it safe. Then, of course, strive for balance. Effective communication with your staff is the key to that. Openly discuss what your priorities are for your facility and see how that measures up with the rest of your team. Set a time limit to accomplish all of your goals and ask staff, what do you think could be done differently? What could we do better? What will make us more efficient? When it's time for recognition, and remember I said value, nurses want to be valued, recognize the entire team, not just one individual you single out. Make sure that everyone knows that teamwork makes the dream work, and that as a team, they are effective and they're producing great results, and that you want to recognize everyone's effort, from the unit clerk who contributed perhaps a piece of paper that you needed, to someone who went to find a supply that you needed, to someone who was at the bedside. Everyone makes it work. You cannot have nursing care without housekeeping. You cannot have nursing care without a maintenance department. When I teach customer excellence, I say that every single person in the building is a part of that customer excellence team. Everyone contributes to the outcome, not just the person at the bedside. If you've not yet been vaccinated, get yourself vaccinated and boosted. Be a part of the solution and not the problem by ensuring that you too are helping to create a safe environment. And again, use other staff on the unit to do what you can't do. It's really unfortunate that not all nurses and physicians, for that matter, use other people who are on the unit to run an errand to get something. They can use unlicensed staff in the department as long as it's within the job description to do what needs to be done. Our industry has been struggling for so long with understaffing since way before the pandemic. But the trauma and the stress of COVID has made it much more of an issue. So let's go over the mini slide deck that I shared, that I prepared for you.
Yep, I'm just gonna, let me make
Hold on
you.
1 second. I just want to share screen first.
Okay, 1 minute. Let me.
Oh, you disabled. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do it now.
Tell me when it's up.
Okay, almost there.
Still disabled.
Check it now.
Now, okay, let's see. Yep.
Okay, good.
One second, you're not seeing the right thing. Now confirm that you can see my slides.
Yes, we can.
Okay, and do you see the whole slide?
Yes, we do.
Okay, great. So what we're going to be talking about then is how to manage that understaffed team. And you have, by the way, a number of people in the waiting room, I think 9 of them right now,
Okay,
if you want to let them in, okay?
I'm gonna let them in now.
So it's all about managing your understaffed team. You're a part of that understaffed team. Do you want to work in an environment in which you cannot possibly get things done, and which you really feel depleted at the end of the day because you've not been able to give it your all? And you walk away feeling as if, why did I ever show up? Because what I'm doing is not contributing to outcomes, is not contributing to better patient care. It's creating more stress. It's making me miserable. Maybe I don't belong in nursing anymore. Maybe this is not for me. So I think that it's really important for you, again, to ensure that you take care of you. We're going to talk about positioning, strategies, and outcomes. Okay? So you know that I work in the healthcare space, and Decency told you that I have 3 decades of experience. I work as a business acceleration coach, leading a top consulting organization, have multiple books. It's actually going to be 19 before the end of the year, and lots of peer-reviewed manuscripts. I work to facilitate better outcomes, to promote patient safety, to promote presence, and to give nurses a voice, because that's what nurses need. Nurses need that voice. And I'm going to go ahead and admit all the people in your waiting room.
All right, thank you. And can you also share your
can't.
screen again? We can see your screen.
Okay, I'm bringing it back. You keep changing it. That's why.
Yeah, I was trying to let them in, but that's okay.
Okay, so the first thing you need to do is positioning. Determine the needs, set your priorities, and focus. I had this slide created for me because it's all about taking your temp. You know temp, it's part of vital signs. Temperature, blood pressure, respirations. But I encourage you to take your own temp. And what does that mean? Determine when you go into a patient's room, what are you thinking? Where is your mind at the time? Where are your thoughts? Are you pressured in terms of the little amount of time that you have to get something done? The fact that you won't have time to provide adequate care? The fact that you're already exhausted and at your peak so that you cannot possibly take on one more patient? What are your thoughts? Where is your energy level? Have you just come onto your shift and you're really excited to be there and you really want to make a difference and you're thrilled that you're at work today and able to do that, able to provide care that will contribute to better outcomes? Where is that energy level? Or do you come in as Mr. or Miss or their doom and gloom? I'm sad to be here. I could have been home with my kids. I could have been out at the park. I could have been riding my bike. I could have been having a picnic. I'm so sorry I need to be here today. Trust me, the patient and the patient's family understands that energy level. They sense what you are feeling. Where is your mood? Are you low or are you high? Are you happy or are you sad? We all know, because we learned long ago, that it takes many, many less muscles to smile than it does to frown. So isn't it better to just put a smile on your face, be happy, and ensure that the patient knows that you want to be there and that you're there for a reason. And then finally, what is your perspective? Is that perspective, oh no, not again, not another day of being overworked, not one more day of being stressed out, not one more day of physical, emotional, and mental exhaustion, not one more day of potential burnout. I don't think I can take it any longer. What is your perspective? So I don't know if you've ever really thought about it, but I encourage you to take your temp. Think about your thoughts, your energy, your mood, and your perspective, because that's what's going to matter in terms of making a difference. Strategies. Reallocate your time and your talent. I told you earlier, you can use unlicensed personnel to run errands, to get product, to get supplies, perhaps to transport a patient. Reallocate the time and talent so that the caregivers who are licensed are those who are at the bedside or with the patient providing care. Make sure that you use every resource possible so that the individual at the bedside has the time to really do what is needed to provide quality outcomes. Automate the process whenever possible. If you can automate your medical records, as most medical records are these days, if you can automate a process of perhaps acquiring equipment. There are many hospitals, certainly in the United States, that use robots to deliver materials for the operating room. You would be surprised at the number of robots that are now used as circulating nurses in surgery. Automate whatever you can using electronic devices and artificial intelligence to be sure that you're not wasting your time doing something that can be done in an easier way. And again, as I said, attribute the success to everyone. Everyone is a member of the team and everyone makes it work. Not just one person, not just the individual at the bedside, not just the person who was starting the IV, every single person. And finally, outcomes. I told you in the beginning that self-care is not selfish. It is absolutely not selfish to put yourself first for a minute and think about your mindset, your temp, and how you're going to feel caring for that patient. You can only do that if you've taken adequate time to take care of yourself. If you have had at least 5 to 7, hopefully 8 hours of sleep, if you are hydrated and making sure that you're drinking water. And I remember working with nurses who told me I can't take a break and I can't drink water like I should. I know that I should. My joints hurt because I'm not drinking enough. But if I drink, then I'll have to use the restroom. And if I have to use the restroom, it's going to interfere with patient care. And if it interferes with patient care, we're going to have poor outcomes. It's not about that. Put yourself out there and put yourself first. Put less pressure on yourself. How hard are you driving yourself to be able to be the best that you can be, and yet you're still not there? Apply less pressure to yourself and to your peers. Work as a team and make sure that everyone contributes to the end result and gets things done. And then, of course, an outcome is going to be reduced burnout. You don't want to have burnout. Burnout is at an all-time high among all health professions, and actually at this time across all industries. No one is exempt. Think about the wait person at a restaurant and how tired they are. Think about their ability to go on and have to wait on increased tables and have shorthanded people in the kitchen who can't produce the orders when they need to get done, or they're not done right. Burnout is at an all-time high, and we need to ensure that everyone has the opportunity to contribute to the outcomes and to be a part of the process. Be a part of the solution, not the problem. Again, please don't ask staff to take on more. They're at capacity. They've done it. They can't do any more. Listen to their issues, highlight common goals. If you listen to their issues, and if all of you state your own issues, you'll find that there's tremendous commonality among you and that you're all facing the same problems. Again, ensure that upper management is aware of the issues. And if you are upper management, document the need for resources and communicate with those who can make a difference. Strive for balance. Ask staff what they need and do your best to deliver it. Offer meaningful recognition of the team as a whole and promote, promote cross-team collaboration and utilize other staff as permitted to meet needs. If you're running on empty and your fuel tank is empty, you cannot produce. It's virtually impossible. So I have some contact information on this slide that I know that he will share with you, but I'm going to stop sharing for now because I know that you also wanted to have some time for questions and to see what else we need to do.
All right. Thank you so very much, Sharon. I'm really sorry for the, I was trying to get your presentation so I can share them for everyone to see. But thank you so much for those very important points that you highlighted. And then I just want to bring just a question I would like to throw first, and I will ask everyone to see if they have questions. So nurses are more and more continuing to be stressed at work. There's a lot of burnout because there is shortage of staff in the hospital. And due to this, when you arrive at work and you are told that about 3 or 4 of your staff members called out, they are not going to be in for that very particular shift. You have the same number of patients in the floor. And then you guys are going to be taxed with having to increase the number of patient ratio in order to be able to carry on in that shift. In that kind of situation, you're already in the hospital, you're already clocked in, there is no one that can be called from home to come and work. How can you cope with this kind of stress?
That is horrific stress, and none of us wants to be in that position.
None of us.
So first of all, understand the roles that need to be filled. Understand who needs what and what time frame they need it. What are the medication schedules? What are the treatment schedules? Do as I said in the beginning, do what you can do and don't try to do more. Because if you don't do it well and you make a mistake or you skip a step, you're going to be no good to anyone. And you're going to be, in fact, dangerous to the patient and to a possible safety issue.
That's true.
Be flexible and reassess what needs to be done. Assign people at different levels to triage issues, to share the load with you. You can't call in more people, but you can reassign the people who are there. And stay on top of your needs and your fellow team members' needs. Because if you came in to this situation and the person before you doesn't want to work an extra shift and they want to go home to their families as well, other people came into this situation with you. You're not the lone person on that unit.
Yeah.
Make sure that you display positive vibes. Don't let it tear you down because it will wear you down and you will be useless. There's nothing that we can do to fix it. There's nothing that we can do to make it better. What we can do is to prioritize what needs to be done and make sure that gets done and let the rest fall through the cracks. As I said in the beginning, the whole bed bath might not be as important unless, of course, the patient has soiled himself.
Yeah.
Then, yes, it's important.
Wow. Thank you so, so much. That's amazing. All right. From your standpoint, looking at healthcare and how understaffed the healthcare system in the entire United States is currently, do you see light at the end of the tunnel in terms of staffing?
I wish I could say yes, but I'm afraid that I have to say no. And the reason I have to say no is because there are so many nurses who are leaving the profession. They can't take it anymore. COVID has burned them out. And because of that, they just cannot give anymore. Remember, I said it's impossible to drink from an empty cup. They can't give any more of themselves. They can't pressure their families anymore to tolerate this kind of scheduling and to allow them to come home exhausted.
Hey, Sharon. Sharon, can you unmute yourself, please? Yeah.
Did you unmute?
Yeah.
Did you mute everyone? Well, you muted me
Yes,
too.
I did mute everyone. Sorry,
Okay.
someone was.
Yeah,
We're
having
having
a little noise going on.
Yeah.
So my point was, how much longer can you take what you're taking now? If there are
Not so
no more
long.
people to come in and we're producing more nurses in nursing schools than ever before, but the question is, how long will they stay in the profession? Will they too recognize the fact that, hey, this is not what I thought it was? And as rewarding as the overall role is, it's not going to be rewarding to me if it takes away from my family time, if it takes away from my young children, if I can't be there for them. So we have some issues going on with this person.
Yeah.
With one person who sounds as if they're having a party to which we should all be invited.
I'm just gonna remove.
Can you mute only Godwin?
I'm put in the waiting room. All right. I did put that one in the waiting room. All right.
There you go. Much better.
Yeah.
So as I was saying, we don't know how long this will last, and we don't know if there's a recovery plan, because even though we continue to produce nurses and we're churning them out. And when I talked to my colleagues at Purdue the other day, they said the average age of a nursing student in their facility is multi-generational. Students are between age 17 and age 60 and just starting out in nursing.
That's true.
A colleague in the state of Washington just retired at age 93.
Yeah.
How much longer can people be pushing beds, be lifting patients, be hauling heavy equipment, be taking on a full load, and still survive? It doesn't work that way. It's virtually impossible.
Does not. Yeah. Wow. So, hello, nurses. So this is an all important topic. If you are here in the United States, you're going to notice that this is actually a very challenging moment for the healthcare. You might be experiencing what I'm talking about, but if you have not gotten here in the United States, now let me tell you, when you get here, hospitals are beginning to be understaffed. So the pressure is coming upon the nurses that are at work. And remember, Rodanda Vault, the issue that happened and the hospital had to throw her in. So it will continue. When you talk safety, you have to be watching out for yourself. Just like she said, if you don't take care of yourself, nobody else will. No one else. You shouldn't expect anyone to take care of your own responsibility, your own self, your own activities, or your own things. Take care of it more than yourself. Nobody will be able to do that. So you have to take care of yourself first to be able to give the best to your patient. All right, so I'm going to take questions now because I know our speaker would have other responsibilities to go onto. So if you have any question, you know how we do it. Raise up your hand and I will spotlight you and then have you ask your question. All right. So if you have any question, now is the best time to ask.
And there are no stupid questions, remember. Every question counts.
Yes.
Chances are that if that question is top of your mind, it's in somebody else's mind as well.
It's true. So whatever it is, whatever you think, the question is, no matter how stupid you think it is, just ask it. We will be able to understand and answer ourselves. Okay? Are you beginning to think, oh, is this actually worth it? Am I really coming to the United States to, be behind the bars because I did something in the hospital that is unsafe? You can ask those questions now. Clear your fears so we can answer you. She has a lot of experience. She'll be able to give you the answer that you deserve. All right. And while you're thinking about the question to ask, I want to let you know that she said she has written about 9 books. I'm just going to show you some of those books that she has written so that if you are out there looking for a book to read the book that is written by Sharon. And also, I want to let you know she's on LinkedIn. and she's very friendly. She's approachable. That's one thing I noticed about her. Very friendly, approachable. You can always chat her up and ask her your question, and I bet you she'll be ready to answer you. And her name is just the name that appears on her screen, Sharon Winston. You'll be able to see her on LinkedIn, and follow her on LinkedIn also, so you can always see her posts. She's always having programs and programs with different people. And these programs are programs that you won't afford to miss. They are programs that will enlighten you, programs that will brighten your future and help you understand how you can create wealth and how you can be on your own as an entrepreneur. So I also, okay, these are some of the books that she has written. I just went through them now, and this is her contact. So this is her phone number, this is her email, and then this is also her, is that that's for your company, right? The SMW group? Yeah,
group.
okay. That's the company, and then her email address. All right, so I'm still looking. I don't know. Let me check the comment section and see if there are questions on the comment section. Okay, I can't find any question on the comment section, but I know you guys have really benefited a lot from what Sharon discussed with us today. And I really appreciate everyone that came. And I also want to say a very big thank you to Sharon for coming onto the program. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Keep in mind, please, that if you have a question, you can send it to Decency and he can share it with me.
Yeah, if you have question, you can always send to me, then I would share and get back to you on the answers that she gave me. All right. Thank you so much, Sharon. I really appreciate this.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you. All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.